If you're in a relationship with somebody that is always angry, they have short fuse, they're always going off, and it is somehow always your fault, or at least they make you feel that way, right? Then what happens is little by little, you are less and less living your life and more living life trying to make someone else not get angry. Okay, so think about that for a second. Rather than just being and living, it's almost like you become an emotional regulator for someone else that doesn't know how to control or process their own emotions. So if they're upset about something, they attack you. If they had a bad day, it's your fault. Like they never have any responsibility in themselves. Well, if you had childhood trauma, that can touch on a wound. Okay, because in childhood, if you were made to feel like you were responsible for your parents' anger, then someone's anger and them being angry was directly correlated to your safety, right? And your survival. Because if your parents angry at you, then the brain thinks, okay, well, what's going to happen to me? Who's going to take care of me? And your brain and your nervous system start linking that with survival. The reason I'm bringing that up is because if you're in a relationship with an adult now, you're an adult, you're in an adult relationship and they get angry, it can touch on that subconscious wound that when somebody's angry, your survival is at stake. And when that wound gets touched on, if it's in your subconscious mind, which in my case it was, I didn't even realize it at the time, you then act in a very childlike way of trying to appease. That person's angry. It's my job to do something. I need to make them happy so that I can be safe. If we peeled it back, that's what's going on underneath the surface. Half the time, it's out of our conscious awareness. So we're doing this and we don't even realize it. So when we're doing this for a long time, our nervous system has learned to constantly be alert for danger. So if you're still in a relationship with somebody that's like this, you'll find yourself like, let's say they work and you know the time that they get home, right around the time, right before they get home, you're going to feel in your body, you're going to feel anxiety, you're going to feel stress. That's your nervous system causing you to walk on eggshells in the sense that it's saying, be careful of everything you do. Are you safe? Did you do this? Are they going to get mad at that? And it's evaluating your safety. The more that happens on a daily basis, rather than thinking about doing things you love to do, your thoughts are, well, if I do that, how will she or he feel? Will they be mad? Oh, I can't do that because they'll be mad. Oh, I can't do this because they'll be mad. And you're not living your life. You are thinking that you can stop that person from being angry if you do everything right. Again, that's the thought patterns and the strategy that came from childhood. So that's what happens with walking on eggshells. All of your thoughts begin revolving around what that person needs and not around you. Now, somewhere along the way, especially if you're watching a video like this, somewhere along the way, everyone starts to realize there's something wrong with this picture. This is not normal. And they start to take their power back little by little. So let's say you start realizing that, and now you're taking your thoughts and your focus and you're putting them on you, right? And what you need and taking care of yourself. Let's say that relationship ends because of that. For the ending, you've been walking on eggshells for a long period of time. When it ends, you might think, well, that person was causing me to walk on eggshells. They're gone. I should be good. That's what I thought. And then when it didn't happen at first, I was like, oh, well, it just needs some time, just time to carry on. And then I won't feel what's going on inside, the same intensity that was taking place while in the relationship, right? The person's gone, but your nervous system is causing you to still feel that danger, that hypervigilance, that fear, the anxiety. And this is the part that I didn't understand, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. When you leave and you're at that leaving point, that's awesome that you're no longer going to be in a situation where you're being abused and hurt. But just because you remove that person or you remove yourself or they leave for whatever reason, doesn't mean that your nervous system springs back to how it was. All of those years where you were alert all the time for danger from that person has taught your nervous system that you have to be alert 24/7, that you never know when the danger is going to take place. So, you need to be alert. And that causes a person to get stuck in their fight or flight. So your nervous system at the moment has lost its ability to go into fight or flight when necessary, and then to come back into your window of tolerance. To go into it when it's necessary and come back. That's normal, right? Life sometimes has stress. Stress is normal. Challenges are normal. It's when we're flung out of our window of tolerance and we're in our fight or flight, and that's all we are. And we're never in this window of tolerance. We're always at that heightened state. That can cause a lot of problems. So let's talk about that for a second. Okay, so some of the things that happen if you are stuck in fight or flight, first of all, your body is going to be affected. Your heart rate is going to be increased. This can cause a lot of heart problems with time if your heart is pumping at a rate consistently higher than it should. I know a lot of people that have gone through trauma and narcissistic abuse that have heart problems. Something else that happens because you're in fight or flight, the body, instead of taking care of your organs, starts taking care of the organism, which is you, right? Because you're in danger. So it changes how it takes care of you, and it stops taking care of your organs, and it puts all of the attention on blood flow to your muscles so that you can fight or flight, so that you can do something to keep yourself alive. So that causes irritable bowel syndrome, that causes gut issues, that causes your organs to suffer because they're not getting the attention that they need. Very much like if a tornado is coming to town, the sanitation department stops working, the cafeterias and the food places shut down because that's not important at the moment. Safety is most important. Well, when your body's doing that and it's shutting down all of the things that your organs need to be healthy, then you're going to start getting sick. So my point is that if you have left all toxic people and you've exited or had exit anyone that was causing you to walk on eggshells, it's time to evaluate if you are stuck in fight or flight, if your nervous system is still being affected. So I'm going to give you guys some symptoms. Get out a piece of paper and give yourself a wellness check. Give your nervous system a wellness check and see how many of these things are affecting you or might still be affecting you. And if they are, it's just a wake up for you to be able to start giving attention to your nervous system. Okay, healing isn't just about the other person. It's about getting balance again back in your body. Okay, and once that balance is there, then you're going to see a difference in your relationship with your nervous system, your relationship with yourself, and your relationship with others. So let me know after you go through the symptoms, let me know how many you happen to have at this moment. So some of the physical responses that you might feel as a result of being stuck in your fight or flight. You might have pounding heart, chest pain. You might feel numbness or tingling, okay, it could be in your hands or feet. Your blood pressure has gone up. You might urinate more frequently, feel lightheaded, often have dry throat. You might even have hot flashes. Also, you might feel like you're stuck in hypervigilance, where you just can't seem to, it's like there's a switch on inside of you that is like a surveillance that's on overdrive, and you can't seem to feel relaxed or in the moment. Some emotions and thought responses might be that you battle restlessness, agitation, worthlessness, depression, guilt, anger, nightmares. You might have severe mood swings where you might feel really up, but then you're really down. You have a really hard time concentrating, anxiety or depression. You might swing back and forth between both of them. You might feel a severe sense of hopelessness and helplessness. You might be extremely defensive and reactive. You may have racing thoughts, intense thinking, always expecting the worst, and have a hard time remembering things. Some of the ways that it might show up in your behaviors are avoidance. Because the emotions can be so intense, avoidance feels safer than doing anything else. Okay, another behavioral response is neglect, where you just don't take care of yourself. Some people get into vices like smoking or drinking or spending or overeating. You may feel very aggressive when you're speaking to people. Your sleep is disturbed, often with nightmares or just a lot of fear and anxiety, and you never feel relaxed. So as a result, a lot of people will wind up withdrawing from others. They will sometimes use alcohol to try to medicate and not feel, right, the intense emotions that are coming up or the lack of emotions. Arguing can be really frequent because you're such on hypervigilance that your nervous system can mistake so many things for attacks. And so you wind up arguing a lot. You have poor self-care habits. You may be constantly seeking reassurance outside of self because you don't feel like you can trust yourself. And the last thing I'm going to mention is that there's a decrease in you just living and enjoying life, or doing things that are fun, or doing things that you love. Take a wellness check. It's not about looking at the negative. It's not about trying to find a problem. It's about being honest with where you're at so that you can see if your nervous system needs attention. Because the thing with the nervous system is it can change. You can completely overcome the side effects that have happened to your nervous system as a result of narcissistic abuse or complex PTSD. But you have to do something. They don't just happen by chance, and they don't just happen because time passes by. So if you have a lot of those, and if they are affecting your life, then I invite you to join us in the Thriver School of Transformation. We meet live weekly and we work through these things together. And so it really helps you to shift from learning into doing, but not doing the inner work alone. You get to do it with others that are on the same journey. So if you get a chance, make sure you check it out.